excitement brewing in IndyCar with the defending champion, Alex Palou, and a tug of war between Chip Ganassi and McLaren over his services for 2023. Is that a nice way of saying that, tug of war?
And that's not bad.
I don't, typically Chip Ganassi does not lose those kind of encounters. That's the equivalent of wrestling to being Dick the Bruiser type.
Well, Zach Brown often gets what he wants too.
I know.
Yeah.
So
two Titans going at it.
To talk about two alpha dogs.
Yeah.
So for those who really don't know, and I'll let you two chime in, but basically our defending champion, Alex Palou, who by the way has now moved up, even this and he makes it more dramatic, now into third place in the point standings, is supposedly signed or the option with Ganassi for next year. Yet on the flip side, he apparently is signed with McLaren to run for next year, which the bright, shiny trinket, no doubt, would be an option to run F1 too. And the powerhouse that now that Zach Brown has accumulated with the Pato Award, Alexander Rossi, and if indeed it is Alex Palou, that's things haven't been that way since Andretti, Al Unser, and Joe Leonard and Parnelli Super Team, I believe. Roger Penske might not agree with that, but that is definitely a big deal. And then you have that Rosenquist factor, which looks more and more he's going to be their Formula E person, whether he wants to be or not.
I hope not. I like his run in the Indy cars.
Right.
He could be just as
spectacular.
spectacular.
And we'll be talking about that, but let's get a take on how, Paul, you see, and then Bob, how you see what's transpired and how it's going to work its way through, and better yet, how's that going to affect the team if he indeed does go with McLaren? How's that going to affect their desire to have him capture another championship? That tug of war between wanting to win and, well, screw you kind of a type of thing. So Paul, we'll start with you.
Well, the first thing, I have never seen something like that. Really, I don't think I've ever seen something like that. And it all went down within like 7 or 8 minutes, the series of announcements. I was like, what? Well, here's another one. What? Now their drivers all have managers and everything. So, and often in that kind of situation, the driver is a little more slave to the manager than they probably would want to be. And, it's not uncommon for a manager in any field, as you know, Denny, to go a little out on his own on behalf of his client and then call him back later and say, guess what, I got you. Well, I cannot see this. We're going to see some lawsuits unless they both get drunk. Zach and Chip get drunk and go back in a room and figure it out. I was totally shocked by it. I was totally shocked that kind of thing gets public. There are those kind of wars, but but now, we're journalists. I love it. It's a story.
Yeah.
Bob, what are you hearing?
Well, Paul saying he loved it remind me really of what Will Power said. They talked to Will Power some about it, and he likes it. He thinks it's good for the series, getting that kind of publicity and that kind of talk. So I think there's some positives in that as well. As far as him winning Palou winning the championship and winning more, I mean, that's what they're in business for. I don't care who the driver is. Chip Ganassi is going to be happy if one of his drivers wins the championship. Doesn't matter if it is Palou or every time one of his drivers wins a race. Chip Ganassi is going to be happy. That's what he's doing this for. And I believe I like what Palou said over the weekend when he was asked some similar questions about you know, how this is going to affect his season. He said, it's not. He said, I'm a warrior and I'm going out to win races, period.
Paid to win.
That's the end of it. As far as distractions, there was a guy I talked to that's familiar with members of the team, Palou's team, and they kind of all congratulated Alex, you know, hey man, that's pretty cool. Looks like a step up for Palou. Of course, they would hate the losing, but I don't think it's a huge distraction for them necessarily. It's not like it's Palou against the rest of them now. Yeah. And Paul and I both spent some time with Kurt Cavan today. Mm-hmm. And one thing, and I'm not sure if Paul caught it, one thing that Kurt thought might happen is Palou might not drive at all next year.
It could end up being that, yeah.
Yeah,
he's right.
In other words, you know, Ganassi exercises the option that he has with Palou. Hey, you're under contract with me. If you don't want to drive with me, fine, set out. You know, something along those lines. So it's very interesting to see how and fascinating, really, how it might work out over the next several weeks, and certainly a lot of buzz, on both sides of the pond, as they say.
Yeah, if it happened, and I have reason to believe it did, I think Ganassi sent out looking for Ryan Hunter-Reay's seat.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
So
yeah, well, there you go. So
there's the game has begun.
Exactly, and as far as Zach Brown and McLaren, when you look at what Zach Brown's doing, he's got drivers now that he can move like chess pieces. Right. Well, you're going to run electric. You're going to run the sports car stuff. You're going to run IndyCar, or who knows? He might mix and match. Yeah. You're going to test Formula One. So,
and indirectly, he kind of has heard of it too.
Yeah, he has heard it. Yeah.
Right. Which we should, I guess, say that Colton Herta had a very successful run in the test car, the year-old car and everything.
Right.
And selfishly for IndyCar, I hope they don't lose any of those four.
Well, I hate to see any of those guys, us lose any of those guys. Yeah. But the idea that they're being talked about and IndyCar talked about on an international level it's nothing but good for the sport.
Also, it's you know, like Pat O'Ward and that whole group, anything that happens, I don't see any of them in Formula One, should they go there, until after 2023.
Yeah,
I just think it's too complex otherwise.
Right. No, I agree. They might get some seat time like Colton did.
Yeah.
You know,
and I think on television, Colton alluded to it. You know, I'm going to be here 2023. I forget how he said it, but it was there.
Yeah, I caught that myself, Paul.
Well, I hope both of you, when you speak to him, push the narrative that he considers doing what Mario did and put it in his contract that he gets to run Indy. And I know, but he's not going to get it unless he asks for it.
I'm not sure that works in today's world.
No,
but it would work if he's running for Andretti race team in F1. If Michael gets an F1 team.
It's Formula One has become, you know, so intrigued with contracts and with the financial side of it. You know, hence Andretti, it's impossible for him to come in as a new team. That just can't happen.
Right.
But I don't see anybody just suddenly ending up in a Formula One car like that. It's going to be a process if it happens at all.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
So if indeed, well, I would imagine if the thought of Palou sitting out a year, Penske will have all parties in the back room. And
that could be.
And Penske could pull it off more than anyone else could pull it off.
Yeah, there could be a conversation. And yes, he can. He's the only guy that can do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe you remember back in 1947 when they had the Aspar strike.
Oh yeah.
Bill Fox of the Indianapolis News came in and averted, he was kind of the mediator on it. Maybe the distinguished Hall of Fame Paul Page will be the mediator to resolve this
Oh,
difficult and everything. Let's push that narrative, Bob. What do you think on that?
No,
I don't think I'd want to be between Zach Brown and Chip Ganassi
no.
in a closed room.
You remember that strike though, the final line I think on it, if I have this one right, was when the drivers were just told the race is going to start 11 o'clock, and if you want to be in it, be in it. Otherwise,
Yeah.
see ya.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
Tony just put his foot down.
There was one back in 1933, I believe it was, when
Howdy Will.
right, yeah, it was Howdy Wilcox the second wasn't able to start Indy because of a supposed diabetic condition.
Right.
Drivers were going to strike, and Rickenbacker says, it's going to be starting in 10 minutes. And if no one does, I'll get in the car and drive the 500 miles myself, and I'll padlock the track, and we'll never have another race here.
Yeah.
Guess what happened? They ran the race. And
They figured it out.
There you go.
But so if indeed they do lose Palou, who's the shiny trinket now? I think he qualified 5th at Toronto. Is going to be the guy that is going to be on everyone's radar. David Malukas, 20-year-old.
Oh,
he's great.
Malukas.
Yeah, Malukas.
Yeah.
He's now really outshining Kyle Kirkwood. Kirkwood's kind of, his brand is slightly suffering with his various encounters with other people. And I think Kirkwood's going to be outstanding too.
If he get a little more consistent, I could see VK coming in that
VK.
role.
I do too. I think VK is their first pick if Ganassi will go after it. It just hit me now. Ganassi might make a run after Rosenquist just the touche backwards and everything.
I bet after all this, all those contracts are going to be locked up tight after this situation.
The Gene Autry days of a handshake don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Sure. But, talking about Malukas, the two others, it was really good. You had both Kalamayat, I think he qualified 7th, and Lundgaard, Christian Lundgaard was 10th. So 3 in the top 10 again, which is amazing.
Yeah.
On that. And well,